Goodbye, YouTube. How's it going, everybody? Before I get into talking about the team preview, I have some things I want to talk about. First off, I'm going to give a big thanks to Eon Blitz for making me my awesome channel banner. He made it like 2 weeks ago, but I just now remembered to give him a shout out, so his channel link is going to be down in the description. You guys should definitely go check him out. Second off, the team I'm using in this battle is not my own team. It is an RMT team, just because I really like the fact that they have Braviary, Ferroseed, and Golurk, 3 awesome Pokemon. Plus, it has Emboar, and Emboar is always awesome, and I never used a Mesprit, so yeah, I wanted to use it. Finally off, my girlfriend Laura wants to do a Q&A with me, and I've been kind of wanted to do a Q&A too recently. So if you guys want to ask us some questions that we are both going to answer, just leave questions down below. You guys can leave anything that you want. I don't care, leave like 10 questions each. I don't know, just leave questions. Leave anything, I won't answer them. And I'll probably be taking questions until my next upload tomorrow. So yeah, just you have today, tomorrow until my next upload. And yeah, anyways, looking at threats on my opponent's side of the field, the two main things I'm going to be worried about are going to be the Jinx if it's sub Lovely Kiss and Nasty then if Sceptile is Acrobatics, it's going to be a major problem. But I knew my best lead going into the battle more than likely would be my Mesprit, just because he probably is going to want to lead off with the Drotagon to get up his Stealth Rocks. As he does do that, I'm just going to stand and go for the Ice Beam, and I know Ice Beam won't take it out, but I know he's not going to go straight for the offensive move and more than likely go for the Stealth Rocks. As he does do that, the following turn I can knock him out with another Ice Beam, which is why this turn I thought that he would actually stay in, predicting me to Thunderbolt, predicting him to bring in the Quillfish, but that was really dumb of me because he has no way to know if I am not choice. This Mesprit is expert belted, but he actually makes the middle ground play by bringing in the Dusknoir, and I want to give him the false illusion that I am choiced so I can catch him off guard later on in the battle. And I'm going to switch directly into my Emboar because anytime a Dusknoir is brought in, it's just going to go for the Willows, so my Emboar can easily take that because it is a fire type, and I'm going to be able to stay in and go for the Flare Blitz, except not really, because I thought that he would bring in the Quillfish, but no, he stays in, predicts me to overpredict, or just thinking I would go for the Wild Charge, and I do go for it, and he's just going to get off a huge amount of damage with the Earthquake. Unfortunately, at this point, my Emboar is basically useless to me, so I'm just going to leave it in for fodder, trying to get off as much damage as I can to the Dusknoir, because if I get rid of the Dusknoir, that means I will be able to spin away the rocks later on in the battle with my Kabutops. As he knocks me out with the Earthquake, I am not going to be able to get a free switch into my Golurk, which is Adamant Max Attack, so I'm going to stay in, thinking that he's going to predict me to go for the rocks and go for the Will-O-Wisp. I'm actually going to go for the Shadow Punch, but he makes a safe play by bringing in the Quillfish, and obviously knowing I wouldn't go for an Earthquake because it might not have actually taken out the Dusknoir, because Dusknoir is one bulky ass Pokemon. But yeah, I'm expecting him to more than likely want to stay in and go for a layer of Spikes or Toxic Spikes, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to go for my Stealth Rocks. But he actually doubles out into his Drotagon. I don't know what he was predicting. Maybe Scouting got to see if I had the Thunder Punch, which I guess is understandable, but I don't really think Golurk tend to run Thunder Punch. Either way, this gives me a free switch into my Ferroseed, as he actually ends up going for the Sucker Punch. And normally, Drotagons don't tend to carry the Fire Fang, and I don't know if they can learn Fire Blast or Flamethrower, so I'm just going to stay in and go for a layer of Spikes, expecting him to want to switch out, as he does bring in the Dusknoir. I was actually really close to going for the Leech Seed, but in the end, getting up a layer of Spikes is going to be more beneficial to me because I need to start wearing down his Pokemon if I want my Braviary to start doing some damage to his team. And obviously, I don't want to take a Will-O-Wisp, so I'm just going to switch into my Kabutops because my Emboar is gone. Kabutops having the Lumberry is the best thing on my team to absorb a Will-O-Wisp, but it turns out that Dusknoir actually run Fire Punch, which is standard, and I did not know that. So Kabutops either way was the safest switch in, and plus I don't have to burn my Lumberry, so I'm going to be able to stay in. And at the amount of HP Dusknoir is at, I'm pretty positive a Stone Edge should be able to take it out, so I'm going to go for that, and I guess he knows this, so he's going to make a safe switch into his Quillfish, which even after the -1, this Stone Edge does a really good amount of damage to Quillfish, and judging for how much damage that did, I might be able to knock him out with another one, which is why I'm actually going to stay in and go for a second Stone Edge. Unfortunately though, I think I got a low damage roll on that one, and he just barely lives and goes for the Pain Split, and at the amount of HP that he's at, he's actually going to be able to live a third Stone Edge. And I actually hit 3 Stone Edges in a row, which never happened. So yeah, that was pretty lucky of me. As he goes for the Thunder Wave, I kind of wanted to go for the Sword Dance that turn, but really in the end, it wouldn't have been good for me, because if he did go for the Waterfall and take me out, that means his rocks would have still been up, and I don't want to risk another Stone Edge possibly missing, so I'm just going to go for the Rabbit Spin to get rid of his rocks, if anything, because I would rather have his rocks gone and my Kabutops gone than have his rocks up and my Kabutop's gone, if you get what I'm trying to say. But I actually end up knocking out the Quillfish, which means now I don't have to worry about him getting up any layer of Spikes. As he brings in the Sock, the best thing on my team that I had to take a hit from this is going to be my Mesprit, just because I know he more than likely is going to go for the Ice Punch. In hindsight, maybe I could have brought in my Ferocity to go for another layer of spikes, but I thought Mesh Spray would be the safer play, as he brings in the Dust Storm. Even after the hazards damage, it's not going to be knocked out by this U-turn. Then again, it is resisted, so I shouldn't be surprised about that. And I am a minus attacking nature. Either way, this now gives me a free switch into my Merca, my Scarf Braviary. And the best play for me to do is actually go for the Brave Bird, just because if I go for the U-turn, everything that's left on my team is slower than his Jinx. So he can bring in Jinx, go for the Level Kiss, Nasty Plot on my switch out, or even substitute, and it could just get very bad for me. So I thought the better play that I could do was to go for the Brave Bird. As I knock out the Braviary, as I knock out the Dust Storm, sorry, he's going to bring in the Sock, and I don't want to take a Stone Edge, Ice Punch, or Close Combat, so I'm just going to make the safe switch back out into my Mesprit as he does go for the Stone Edge. Thankfully, that's not going to be a 2 KO, and I can just stand and just go for the U-turn again, because at this point, Braviary pretty much one-hit KOs his entire team. I just have to be careful with all the recoil damage that I'm going to be taking, as I get... That U-turn did nothing to Dredagon. Anyways, I'm going to U-turn back out into my Braviary. And I was really close to actually going for the return, when maybe that is what I should have done, just because after the Sucker Punch damage, the Brave Bird recoil, and the Rough Skin recoil, I believe I'm going to be under half HP. So yeah, I should have just gone for the safe return, if anything, because I'm pretty sure that still would have been able to knock out the Jinx. And he's just going to bring back in the Sock. Obviously, I don't want to take a hit, so I'm going to bring in my Pharaoh Seed, expecting him to go for a Stone Edge or an Ice Punch. But he makes an excellent play, predicts that, and goes for the close combat, because he really had no reason to close combat, because I do have a Golurk. And this turn, I'm going to predict him to predict me to bring in Golurk and switch out. So what I'm going to do is actually go for the Thunder Wave. And even if he did stay in and knock me out, that means I could have just brought in Mesprit and in return knocked out his Sock, or just U-turned or whatever. But he does bring in the Jinx, and the fact that I'm able to paralyze this Jinx just takes off a huge burden from my shoulders, because this pretty much shifts the momentum into my favor. Although he still has a Sceptile, which if it is acrobatics and I allow him to get the unburden boost, I could get swept by it. So after he knocks me out, I'm going to bring in my Braviary, and I make an extremely stupid play by going for the U-turn, because now if his Sceptile is acrobatics, he can knock out whatever I bring in and just sweep through my team. So I U-turn out into my Kabutops, hoping that maybe if it is the acrobatic set, he'll go for the Swords Dance. Thankfully though, he turns out to be the special set, and he misses the Focus Blast, allowing me to go for a free Swords Dance, which honestly doesn't matter, just because no Sceptile was ever scarfed, and I could have just brought in my Braviary and Brave Birded and knocked it out, and then my Golurk doesn't get taken out by any one hit from the Sock. So yeah, in the end, the miss really doesn't matter, and I actually get a crit with the Aqua Jet, which means I'm going to finish off this game with Kabutops as opposed to my Braviary, and that's going to be the victory in my favor. So yeah. In the end, it was actually a really fun battle, because I do really enjoy this team. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the battle. If you did, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to see more content. If Laura would stop being here when I narrate, I wouldn't be so nervous, so I apologize if this narration was a little bit off. But yeah, make sure to ask us questions so we can do the Q&A if you guys would like to see that. And with that, I do believe I am out of here. Later, everybody.